Good evening, everyone. I can see there's some, as people are slowly trickling in and joining us. We'll give time for more of our students to join us tonight. So while we wait, you could also feel free to maybe grab some water or use the washroom before we start the presentation. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
And if you're already attached to your computer and waiting anyway, you can just let us know what city you're joining us from tonight.
We have one attendee from Calgary. I hope you're nice and warm right now. Yeah, it'd be interesting to know where other people are from too. Maybe you're not from Calgary, maybe from other provinces in Canada, or maybe you're from outside of Canada. All right, so I'll get started here. Good evening, everyone. My name is Genevieve. I'm a post-secondary recruiter here at SAIT. I'm also a proud graduate from the School of Business. I took up the Business Administration program at SAIT, so I'm also happy to answer any questions about, being a student here at SAIT. So this information session is for the Bachelor of Business Administration information session. And for tonight, we are joined by our academic chair, Dr. Ross Humby. He will be giving a presentation. And we are also joined by Michelle Richards, our academic advisor for the School of Business. Before we get started, I'd like to do a land acknowledgement and acknowledge that SAIT is situated in the traditional territories of the Niitsitapi, Blackfoot, and the people of Treaty 7, which includes the Siksika, the Piikani, the Kainai, the Tsuut'ina, and Erie Nakota of Bears Paw, Chiniki, and Goodstoney. We are situated in an area the Blackfoot tribes traditionally called Makinstis, where the Bow River meets the Elbow River. We now call it the City of Calgary, which is home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3. Before we get started, I'd also like to do a housekeeping. And to just remind everyone of virtually of what you could do in this Zoom webinar. So your microphone and video are currently disabled, but you could use that Q&A or the chat box. And as we go through the presentation, please feel free to type in your questions, and we will answer that as we go through the presentation as well. Also, we encourage you to, that's the housekeeping. We've changed up the rules a bit. We usually answer the question at the end, but you could put down your chat as we go through the presentation, and we'd love to answer that. I'll give the presentation to Dr. Humby now, so he could get started. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Steve, and welcome all. So again, part of this meeting tonight, the Zoom presentation, is actually the most important part, which is to make sure that you get the questions answered that you have, and you get information that you think is going to be helpful for you to make the best decision you can for your post-secondary education. We are obviously biased. We think that our SAIT program is one of the best programs in the country. As a matter of fact, it's not just us thinking that. CEO World Magazine, and in both 2022 and 2023, ranked us as the #2 business school in Canada, the #1 in Western Canada. So other people around the world also think that this is a really good institution to study in, and especially the School of Business. Along with all of the other things that are important as we go start to talk about your post-secondary journey, we have a couple of interactive components, and I'm going to get Genevieve to activate one of them now. And this is a chance for you to tell us what's important for you as you start to think of your post-secondary journey. Genevieve, do you need to give them some instructions with that for the poll?
I'm just going to launch the poll here. You simply could choose, this is a multiple choice, so you could choose what is important to you now in your post-secondary choice. Would it be small class sizes, faculty with industry connections, welcoming learning culture, meeting opportunities to connect with industries, career opportunities, and pathways to continued learning?
Good. You were starting to get some responses. That's great. Yeah, pathways to continued learning. Yes, that's important for a number of us as well. That's good to know. Career opportunities leading the way. Okay, perhaps not surprising. That's good. We might have, well, we've got 19 out of our 20 responded. I guess that could be as far as we get on this one, Genevieve.
Sounds good. I'm going to end the poll there, Dr. Humby.
Yeah, share the results out, please, so the others can, and the others can see this as well, correct? Our audience?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Not a surprise, gang. Most of us, biggest percentage of us, really, the career opportunities is absolutely an important aspect of what we're looking for in our post-secondary. And part of that, and it makes sense, because when you're looking for meaningful opportunities to connect with industry, you're hoping that that leads you to really good career opportunities. And third rank, not surprising, again, that our faculty are also connected with industry. And so the top three things are all about launching or relaunching your career. Thanks, Genevieve. Appreciate that. Yeah, so rank number 2 in the world. All right, let's carry on with that, and I'll show you. And this, as a group, much of what you found was important or indicated was important to you is in fact what most of our current students are also saying about their SAIT experience and what they find really important. A couple of others that are on this list is that the environment or the community, the culture within the school and that learning environment. Sometimes our focal point, we absolutely want that career opportunity. Sometimes we neglect or don't think about the actual environment in which we learn, because it has such an influence on whether we're ultimately successful or not in terms of our career goals. And one of the things that our students and our graduates tell us about the SAIT experience is that a lot of things contribute to that feeling of belonging and being part of something really important. Part of that experience, as well as the fact that our class sizes are smaller and we really get to know our students, and our students really get to know our faculty as well. We're going to talk tonight specifically about the Bachelor of Business Administration, and for those that are coming into this session from a graduating perspective, there is another option or pathway that you can follow. Talk later or afterwards in Q&A about in the Bachelor of Applied Business Administration. That's for those specifically heading into the accounting space. So what do we know about the Bachelor of Business Administration? So this is very similar to the Bachelor of Commerce program that is run at University of Calgary. It is very similar to the Bachelor of Business Administration program available at Mount Royal, in that it's a full 4-year degree. You can apply directly from high school, or you can apply from advanced standing, so having already completed a credential at the post-secondary level. Okay, so that's about it. So you've got the two main pathways into your Bachelor of Business Administration degree, okay? I see there's looks like there is a question in the chat, so I'll talk a little bit about that. The other thing about four-year degrees, and this goes back to how important the different aspects of, your post-secondary are. This is a fully credited bachelor degree, meaning that it also qualifies for those of you who may wish to go on and do master's level studies at other institutions. We do have formal pathway institutions, pathways for our graduates to continue on to master's level study. Three institutions that come to mind: Royal Roads University, University of Saskatchewan, and Cape Breton University are three of the organizations where students are finding success at the master's level after they finish their bachelor program. Okay, so we have a question in there in the chat. Hafida has that question. Michelle, are you able to respond to that in the chat in terms of the timing of the completion of courses and availability?
Yeah, so with just giving some generals, we do still have a spring semester left where you can take courses. So to join the BBA from the diploma, you do have to have all of your courses done by the end of August. And as long as you are transferring from state, that works really well. If you're transferring from outside of state, that's a little bit more complex, but we can definitely chat about that. So what I would always recommend in this case is reaching out to our business advising team so that we can actually go through your transcript and actually better advise you at this point. Without some specificities, I can't do a ton, but I would recommend reaching out to business.advising, and I'll put that in the chat as well, so that we can take a look at your transcript and better advise you what your options are. Because if you're concerned that you didn't get all your classes done in the winter semester, that is okay. We do have a spring semester where you can finish off, hopefully, that final class that you missed. And then just to note, the BBA is a full-time in-person program. So might not be ideal if you're looking for just online courses, just because you mentioned that you wanted an online course.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Michelle. Thanks for that. They can, so I'll go on to the next slide because that has some of the information about the program itself. It is common first year, so all of your courses are the same for our first year students. And the option does exist in year one to take one of the sections will be delivered in the online format, but only in year one. And after that, you can take some courses, but the program is designed as a face-to-face on-campus program. Okay, so you have some flexibility, but really it is designed as a face-to-face on-campus learning experience. Currently there are six different majors that you can specialize in after your first year. So again, first year is common, and then you can head into the world of accounting, financial services, human resource management, marketing, or supply chain management. Now, currently, we have an application in with the provincial regulator asking for permission to run a financial technology major within our Bachelor of Business Administration. And so that we are waiting a decision on that. So if anyone is interested, and we do have your contact information, we could follow up once we have official word from the regulator. And certainly keep your eye on the media, because when you do get official word, it will be made available in the public forum as well for people. A couple of other things that are worth noting in this program: two very specialized minors were created in conjunction with the Bachelor of Business Administration, and that's energy and construction. And if we are part of the Western economy, then we also are aware that two of the areas that are still really, really important in the Alberta economy are energy and construction. Energy, including alternative energy sources, continues to be a really important and growth area right across the world. And construction services are always seeming to be in demand. So those two areas were specifically requested by our advisory committees. And they came and said, love the graduates in accounting, but they really need, we really love it if they had some more information, specifically about the energy sector. Or the same is true, I love your management grads, but really we need them to also be able to talk the language of construction. So could you give them some courses that would allow them to really be involved with a meaningful conversation? Okay. All right, so that's some interesting things in there. I'll just take that one question out of the chat, Carmen. We don't know, and we're awaiting the regulatory approval, and so we can't comment at all one way or another because we're waiting for regulatory approval. In the approval, they will also give us an authorized start date when that comes. So stay tuned. We'll get some more information out to you as soon as we know. Okay. And I'll talk a little bit about Riley's question in there, and then Michelle, please feel free to add to anything that I missed or don't think about. Within the province, most of the post-secondary from the college and polytechnic sector have an agreement in place that talks about transferability for our students between institutions, particularly in year one. So what you can do is contact the business advising for the specifics and the mapping from Lethbridge College's program into the state program. Okay. I'll leave you with that because you would be coming out of your diploma program at Lethbridge College and then coming into the degree program. So there's a little bit of a different process. Michelle, I think still, even though we finished year one, what we do is apply as a high school graduate, but then we can use our marks or credits from our post-secondary as either part of the application process or then as an advanced standing request. How is my memory on that?
Pretty good. If typically, you would be applying with your high school grades because unless you have a business diploma, you can't apply using those grades. You need to have a finished business credential in order to use that to apply into our degree program. So if you are applying after your first year of college, you can definitely do that as a high school student, and then you would apply for transfer credits. And many of the first semester courses are going to be or first year courses, will be very similar to the ones that we offer. So very likely that a fair few of them would transfer, but once you've actually applied to SAIT, you can then submit your application to transfer your courses, and we would evaluate them to basically see if they're an 80% course match and then give you those transfer credits, with the additional condition being that you have to have achieved at least a C or C+ in the course in order to transfer it to SAIT as well.
Good. And the next one's about transfer credit for prior degree learning. So maybe you'll just carry on with that one as well after Michelle. Can you do that one, please?
Sure. So, well, it could be a little bit different. It depends. Transfer credits are granted under a couple different conditions. The grades can be no longer older than 5 years. You have to have achieved at least that C+. And then the courses have to be recognized as an 80% course match. So if these courses are coming from outside of Alberta or outside of Canada, they would have to go through that evaluation process. So I wouldn't be able to tell you offhand exactly how many would transfer, but if they kind of fit that criteria, then up to half of your credits could transfer. So I think that's 19 courses, whereas you have to complete at least 20 at SAIT because we do have a residency requirement.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Michelle. So again, certainly if you're coming in with completed post-secondary credentials, you can use that as part of the application process. And then there is a transfer credit process where we evaluate all the work that you've done in post-secondary, subject to the timing and criteria that Michelle had mentioned. And so often we find that it would typically, if you finish the degree in the last little while, last couple, 3 years, typically you would get some of those credits coming over, and then you can plan out. The other thing that's our advisors are really good at is when you have that preliminary conversation with them, even though it's not final, they could probably give you a sense of, okay, so here's what typically happens in this case. Again, this is a very specific conversation to each individual situation. So really encourage you to reach out and set up some time to talk to the advisors about your particular situation, okay? Depending on the major that you completed your diploma at SAIT in and the major that you're going into the degree, somewhere between 18 and all 20 of your class or courses will transfer. So obviously, if you're, completed a marketing diploma and you're coming back to complete the marketing degree, that's a straight match for those credits. Accounting in both. Accounting, I think, is 19 out of the 20, because one of the ones does not transfer, the management 395. Is that okay? So I'm hoping I remembered correctly on that one as well.
Yeah, management 395 doesn't transfer in the accounting to the accounting degree because it is very specifically geared towards meeting CPA prerequisites to go into the CPA PEP program. The other caveat I will add is not all of the electives in the accounting diploma transfer. The philosophy one does transfer. The other two, unfortunately, don't have a spot in the degree. So between that kind of 18 to 20 is what would transfer. 19 if you took the philosophy elective. Okay.
So again, a good idea that most of them will go over, and then you'll have to connect with business advising for the specifics on anything else. Okay, so we've given you a little bit of an outline: accounting, financial services, human resource management, and all. So Genevieve, might be time for another interactive poll there, although this group is really interactive with the questions anyway, but let's open up that second poll for them, please. This one, what you're going to be able to do is, where is your interest level right now? And that's what you're going to be able to indicate for us is today, right now, which of those majors has the most interest for you, okay? There you go. I think our conversation about accounting was maybe sort of a little bit of a precursor to what's happening in the numbers, so that's good to see. Accounting and our management major follows up second. Our management major has what is called a project management focus in the sense that you have the opportunity to pick up some extra credits specifically in project management. And again, if you're looking at some of the job opportunities and applications, a lot of them really, really value that journey. That's the project management professional experience. All right, excellent. Yeah, that's great. Everybody's in on this poll. That's great. Thanks very much. We can close that one off. Yeah, so accounting leads the way, management second, and supply chain and financial services third. And if we opened up and had the seventh answer that said, hey, possibly the new financial technology, we might have had a little bit of a different distribution in that. All right, so thanks very much for participating in that and keeping that up, keeping us informed as to where you are and where your mindset is. All right, let's see where else we're going to go here. The comment, I think, was third on our popularity about faculty with industry experience. And you'll find that at SAIT, one of the things that sets our faculty apart is the industry experience. It's not that by itself. It's the industry experience combined with the educational experience, the higher level qualifications that our faculty have. And this speaks to the development of research and the development of knowledge and field expertise that they have. Sonia Johnson is in the midst of her doctoral program at the moment and has a real focus on the student experience as it relates to workplace integrated learning. And so again, we're talking about aligning the learning that students do specifically with career-related outcomes. And we use that through a tool called workplace integrated learning, where, and perhaps no surprise, the data is showing us that if we get our students opportunities to practice their skills in a real workplace environment, they're more likely to be successful in a job search in that field. We do have a practicum in our 4th year of the degree program, and the students who choose that, because it is a workplace integrated learning experience, have a paid practicum in industry, and there's a very high percentage of those people who actually find employment with the same company that they were doing their practical experience with. So again, looking for those connections, meaningful connections with industry. The scholarship of teaching and learning is another one that Lynn Voss has done some work on, and she also specializes in the marketing space, worked internationally and done a lot of work on the student journey in marketing. Mary Vadlakar is our expert in financial services and financial technologies. In addition to starting a couple of his own companies in the financial technology space, he is one of the leaders in major development. And Igor Baramanov is our expert in international trade. During the process of North American free trade negotiations and the subsequent opening up and reopening up of those negotiations, he has been at the consulting table as one of the policy contributors to that. So you get the chance to blend their professional expertise along with their academic credentials. As Michelle mentioned earlier, program really is designed as a face-to-face program. Year 1, you do have the option of selecting a fully online year 1. Now, the difficulty is for some of the majors in their 2nd semester, they may or may not have an online version. Marketing does, accounting does, and I'm not sure about some of the others may or may not. Okay. So again, you gotta have some conversations, especially during that 1st semester, about what it is that you really want to do. It is, as we've said, though, designed as a face-to-face experience. Some of our students do like to blend as they get into their senior years. There's more flexibility actually in year 1 and year 2, so things to keep in mind. If you're coming in with advanced standing means you've completed a business diploma or degree from another institution, and then you're bringing those credits over with you. And that depends which major you're going into, how many of your courses may be available in the online format. But again, plan on it being a face-to-face with your on-campus experience being the majority of your learning. A few other, especially if you're in and around Calgary or Western Canada, some of these companies may seem familiar to you. What these are some of the companies that work with our Dean's Advisory Committee, and they help shape the school strategy by making sure their programs, the courses that we offer, the content in those courses is reflective of what their needs are as employers in that space. Okay, so again, a really good connection with the employers for our graduates. It's time to talk about our entrance requirements specifically. I haven't seen anything else pop in the chat unless I've missed something, gang. So I'll maybe let Michelle talk a little bit more about the entrance requirements for the degree, and again, a couple of different pathways for you to be thinking about.
Yeah, so hopefully this is a little bit self-explanatory. The entrance requirements for the BBA are that you have to have your English 30-1 and Math 30-2. Overall, you need the average of 65%. So, I mean, math can carry you a little bit further if, you know, your English is sitting at 60, that kind of thing. You also have to get some additional courses from high school. There's, if you go to our admissions page, kind of a list of the different courses that you can use towards your entrance requirements. And that's if you're coming out of high school. If you're coming from another institution or already have or your in-states diploma, then you can apply as advanced standing, as Ross has mentioned, which is So the BBA has one entrance or one start date every year, and that's every fall. So as long as your diploma is completed by the end of summer, assuming you're a state student, and you have at least a C+, which is 67% or a 2.3 GPA, you can apply right in. And as long as there's space in the program, you'd very likely be granted a seat, sorry. So there are lots of ways to actually get in. Each student's admission is kind of a little bit different. So if you do have any questions, I recommend connecting with our admissions team, which is the office of the registrar, and they can kind of better let you know if anything is missing. There's tends to be lots of ways to do upgrading or adding a course or two here that you might be missing. Especially if your credentials are from outside of Canada, because then the complexities are just a little bit more than that. And we have specialists who can kind of let you know what would transfer over to us.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. And just a couple of other points. For some of us that may have, done some of our post-secondary, thinking of the Lethbridge College experience there, then you actually can use some of those grades if they're better than your high school grades as part of your application. Okay, so again, because you've proven yourself at a post-secondary level, you can use some of those grades to meet some of your entrance requirements. Again, you're still going to need the math and the science and the English as part of that overall package. Again, if there are any questions, best to sort of get in touch with business advising, have that first conversation, and then they'll probably refer you over to the office of the registrar for anything that's specific or unusual. Again, in Alberta, we tend to use the 30-1 as the criteria. If you go to a place called Transfer Alberta, you'll also see that there is an equivalent if you're coming from a different province. It basically is the grade 12 university stream of math and English and the courses that we're looking for. Okay, so if you're not from Alberta, there's a transfer guide that'll tell you which courses are equivalent to the Alberta 30-1. Okay, all right. Let's see. Oh, got a couple in there. Difference between both degrees. I think we're gonna. I'm gonna just go give you a real high level, and Simran, you may have to clarify this for me. Are you talking about the difference between the Bachelor of Business Administration and the Bachelor of Applied Business Administration? Or are you talking about the difference between, oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So in the first case, I think we've gone over the Bachelor of Business Administration. You have 2 or 3 different pathways that are coming into the program. You come right out of high school, come with some post-secondary, come completed with post-secondary. If you're heading into the Bachelor of Applied Business Administration, it's actually designed specifically, first of all, it's only in accounting. So the applied degree is only in accounting. That's your only option. And when you're going in looking at that route, what the application process for that is looking for is a completed post-secondary credential. So you must have had a completed post-secondary credential with significant accounting compliance or courses in that, so that you can then, and again, there's a matching process. You say, okay, if you want to go into that program, here are the things that you might have to brush up on before you start, because it does jump right into senior level accounting courses and activities. Okay, so that's the biggest difference. Applied degrees also are less. No, just leave it at that. The Bachelor of Business Administration, the BBA, is universally accepted as an application tool for ongoing credentials past the undergraduate level. And I'll just leave it at that for you, okay? Did I miss, there was something else in the chat that I missed in there. I transfer after my first year to yeah, going back to the transfer, definitely connect, because we have a lot, connect with business advising, Riley, specifically in your situation, because we do have a number of students in any given year who start at one post-secondary institution and then transfer to us. Okay, so they transfer at the diploma level, they transfer at the degree level, they move from the diploma into the degree. There's a lot of different paths that you can use for that, but again, the specifics, as Michelle had said, will be tied directly to your own experience, your own grades in your own high school, and your first year at post-secondary. Okay, so definitely reach out. Business advising, set up a time to chat specifically about your situation, where you are, the grades you have, and your completion plans. Okay, best bet for you on that one. Yep. Okay, I think I got caught up with everybody. Yeah, thanks again, getting into the chat for business advising. There's some tuition rates, average tuition rates and costs. The most current versions will be up on the website and in so that when you apply, you'll have a clear cost idea. Again, one of the things that's interesting is, the cost of post-secondary. You want to make sure you make a really good decision. You want to make sure this is the best fit you can find for yourself. Shop around for a bit, attend the information sessions like this. Maybe try student for a day if you're in the area. Come and spend some time on campus, get a feel for the campus, get a feel for the activities, get a feel for the learning environment. When you're looking also at paying for post-secondary, the student loan processes, Canada student loan, the Alberta student loan, or your provincial student loan if you happen to be in a different province. The sad reality of bursaries is that so many of them go unused. We have several $million of scholarships and bursaries that are monies that are available for distribution to students. A big part of that goes unused each year because students just don't apply for it. So again, if you're looking at that and you're getting your acceptance, take a good look real quick at the scholarships and bursaries that might apply to you for your program, your personal situation. There's a lot of additional financial support that's available for students. That's the applied. I'm going to not spend any time on that one. There is the link to business advising. It's been in the chat a couple of times. Again, it's a busy place. If you're physically at or near the campus, it's up on the 7th floor of the Senator Burns building. So again, there's an open invitation. Busy during the first couple of weeks of a semester, as you can imagine. Thanks for joining us. There's information there on where you can find some more information online about the courses, about upcoming information sessions. You can do the virtual tour, or you can make arrangements to come on campus and do a physical tour. So I think we've dealt with a lot of the questions. Genevieve, maybe if there's nothing else in there, maybe you can comment from a student perspective on sort of, how was the experience for you and how important was it for you as a student to get involved in the industry related opportunities, and maybe comment on one or two that you felt really valuable.
Yeah, definitely. There are a couple of things that I find really valuable in the education that I've had way back 2 years ago when I took my diploma program at SAIT. I came in here as an international student, and every courses that I took, or few of the courses do have hands-on learning, and maybe a lot of students were thinking that SAIT has a hands-on learning, but because BA doesn't have a lab, maybe there's no hands-on learning, but there's a lot of hands-on component in the BA diploma program and even the BBA, where you actually do this Biz Cafe simulation, and you're grouped into different with people in different majors, and you get to decide the finance side of building a cafe. So deciding how many coffee beans to order, and then at the end of the week, you could also see if your cafe did well compared to other groups. And it definitely is helpful, especially if you're looking into managing a business at the end of your program. And that's, a lot of decision making for you as a student, and that definitely helped me. And now when I'm after completing my program as a graduate of SAIT, I look back to that and those were very helpful simulations and it even evolved. So when I went to my second year, it's a different simulation where we were selling drones and we were doing international business, applying international business with it. We were selling drones and the main companies in Taiwan, and we were sending it to Europe and to the US. And we have to look into the different territories and the laws that is also into that, and even the conversion of like the prices. So really a lot of hands-on learning. It's not only reading through the books, but it's really getting you out there. A lot of students are also doing this in their project management class. There's also doing charity projects. So you would organize an event or different project management areas that you could look into, and you would connect with the different nonprofit organizations, and that involves a lot of learning of new skills, working with different communities, and just being creative also and being out there. So really getting a lot of experience within SAIT. And apart from that, there's a lot of support services at SAIT too, that there's Career Advancement Center, where even if you graduated out of SAIT, you could still access that lifetime too. So I would
thanks.
say it was really worth it to study at SAIT.
Thanks, Genevieve.
Yeah.
A couple of other things that our students tell us are important. All of the majors have an industry night where they bring industry representatives from around the southern part of the province in almost like a trade show style format, and you get a chance to network and talk to them about what the opportunities are, what the challenges are. That's sort of there are a couple of those types of events during each of the semesters. I think the other thing that makes the SAIT experience that much better is the courses. Genevieve talked about project management, where you're actually working on a real life project and doing a real fundraiser for a real organization. And a number of the other courses as well are tied specifically to industry-based projects. Treeline is one of the companies out of Okotoks that makes those camper tops for your vehicles, like the pop-up tents for the vehicles. They were one of the clients that we were working with in some of our courses this semester. And there are a number of other companies that get involved with SAIT. They bring their projects to us and say, hey, do you have a group of students who can work on this? I'm trying to do a market expansion. There were companies out of British Columbia that came to us because they were looking at creating resort opportunities in the mountain areas, just near the Alberta and BC borders. So again, lots of different things, okay? Lots of different things for that. I did see a question in there a little earlier. Let me pop back to that work experience. Let me talk a little bit about the practicum. So certainly the degree program has the practicum. You need to have finished your third year, and then you're eligible to apply to the practicum work experience. And so it is built into the degree. It's one of the completion options. The other is if you don't choose to apply to the practicum, the default is actually capstone. And in the capstone course, you also work on a real project for a real company. So again, that's it. If you want to consult with someone about your program, yeah, for sure. You know what? I'm going to go with business advising again for that one, Michelle. It's, who do you talk to, trying to find what the best fit is for a student and their course or their program. Definitely start with business advising. The other thing that business advising can do is in that initial conversation, they may actually then say, hey, you know what, let's see if we can get one of the academic chairs from that program to talk specifically about, whatever it was you wanted to know, or let's see if we can connect you up with one of the faculty members in that specialization and have a little conversation with them. All right, so again, your one touch point, business advising, start there with that, okay? Yeah, okay, Genevieve, okay, you did give him an answer anyway to that. Great, that's another one. You can work at that, and that's great. May intake now, we don't actually do a May intake for the degree. So you can apply now. Okay, so applications are open for the degree. The next full start is actually in September. All right, so we're a few months away from that. The May intake is for the 2-year diploma. I believe we are waitlisted already for the diploma, but if you're looking at the degree, you can certainly apply. It is a September start. If you get your application in early and you do get an early acceptance, there are courses that you can, for applied, okay. And again, applied is accounting specific. Well, if it shows that it's open, I suspect it is, but I think we'll maybe Simran will maybe make sure we have a contact for you and do a follow-up with one of the advisors for that, okay? Yeah, Genevieve, we do have an email for our participants, do we? And we can follow up with Mansuran for that.
It does look like admissions for BADM, the applied degree, are still open for domestic applications.
Okay, thanks, Michelle. Great. Okay, there we go. So yes, and I wasn't thinking about the applied degree. So again, to both of you, thank you very much for that. All right, so hopefully that gives you a sense of what the Bachelor of Business Administration at SAIT is all about. I'll end the screen share for the moment here.
There's a question.
You know what? I'm just going to go back to the contact information there. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
There's a question under the Q&A here, Dr.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
For the BBA program, second year is for the practicum. Is the school going to help find the employer or just the students? What if we couldn't find a company to attend?
So it's the third year, that's the practicum. So between year 3 and year 4, not year 2. So it's between year 3 and year 4 for the practical experience. We do help. It is the student responsibility, though, to make sure there is a practicum. And I'll tell you how we do have a number of employers on a regular basis coming back to SAIT and saying, hey, really love the experience. I'm looking for another student in this area. Do you have it? And so it's a question of the match between if you're an accounting major and they're looking for a supply chain major, that may not be a match, right? So ultimately it is the student responsibility. And yes, there are supports that help with that. Genevieve talked a little bit about the Career Advancement Center at SAIT as being one of those. Within the School of Business, we also have specialized resources, people whose responsibility is specifically workplace integrated learning, and they do a lot of work to prepare students for the practical experiences, the practicum that we have. Hopefully that gets an answer for them. Okay, was there anything else in either the chat that anyone missed or in the that I missed or in the Q&A? Oh, there's one there. Okay. Yeah, I think so. Genevieve has given us a link specifically, or again, I would say, yeah, you can connect. You can connect with Michelle. Are you taking those, or we just say the business advising, and then either yourself or Andrew, probably, right?
Yeah, I would start it. Excuse me. Start with the business advising. From there, you get connected to the right advisor, because we do all have specialized portfolios. And so if you're still referring to the BADM program or the applied degree, it does have evening and online courses for it. The BBA does not, or has very few.
Yeah, and I think Olga had asked specifically about, again, I think that's the BBA coming into it with advanced standing or a degree from another subject area. So definitely, yeah, that would be.
Sorry, I missed Olga's question.
That's okay. Yeah, I skipped back to.
Yeah, the other thing I'd recommend, we do have a department called Career Advancement Services, which you can connect with, because we're really good once you know what you want to do. Not so great at like fielding all of the options that are out there. So if you are kind of interested in kind of exploring your options, Career Advancement Services is great. But if you have specific questions about our programs, then business advising is the best place to start.
I just want to put it to add there, we our student development and counseling also have a career planning workshop. They won't specifically say which program would be your best fit, but they would help you out with planning out your career, what finding out your personality and what you are interested. We have that for free during open house, but when you go up to the website, there is a link there to attend information sessions on career planning workshop, which would help all of those who are currently exploring and finding out what your best fit would be. I'm putting the link down in the chat there.
Yeah, thanks, Genevieve. So again, the other thing I would say for anyone who's wondering what the best fit is going to be for them, take a look at where your interests are. Take a look at the kinds of jobs that you could see yourself doing. You say, wow, I'd love to be a whatever that is. And then work backwards from that. Think about the things that you really love to do. Think about the things that you're passionate about, and look then for the career opportunities, and then look back into the programs that might lead you there. The one thing I'll also comment on is it's becoming less and less of a career decision at this age for any of our students, because the reality is by the time most of us are finished our working career, we will have had several career changes. So you're not necessarily trying to plan a lifetime of work. You're trying to identify where the best starting point for you might be. And so in that, I would take a look at, as I said, take a look at the skill sets, take a look at the things that you really enjoy doing, think about the kinds of jobs that you've seen or heard people talk about and the ones that excite you, and then look back from that perspective to go, right, what are the qualifications they're asking for? I mean, you can pull up the Indeed ads or in one of the other career search things, and you can look for what they're looking for in those particular job types. I think really that's one of the starting points as an individual, and I think Genevieve's given you the counseling and career counseling space as well. Very good conversations to have with people. The other thing is, as we've said, it's the world's continuing to evolve. Some of the skill sets that you're looking at developing and growing and learning for your start of your career are actually going to need to continually be upgraded with additional education as you go through your career. So it's really about finding that best starting point. Okay. All right. Nothing else. I didn't think they missed anything else. Michelle, did we see, or Genevieve? Did we catch all our questions there from everyone? Okay. Thanks very much, everyone. Appreciate you joining us for this evening. Look forward to hearing back from you through recruitment or through business advising, and definitely look forward to seeing you on campus or back on campus if you're already one of our graduates. Thanks again for spending your evening with us. Stay warm out there, and definitely be careful if you're out and about. It is a very, very cold night. Take care. Good night, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Right.